ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, we are continuing our study of Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, and we are reading the Ādi Khaṇḍa chapter 12. I believe last time Amarendra Prabhu covered till verse number, let's say 80. So we'll start from 80. He covered till 80. So basically, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu was manifesting symptoms of divine ecstasy. And Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is hardly 16 years old. He is married to Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi, and he is living in Navadvip along with his wife and mother, Srimati Shachi Devi. He is a teacher of grammar, and he goes to the house of Sanjay Mukunda and teaches grammar to his students. And now suddenly he is manifesting symptoms of ecstasy. So different people are giving different opinions. Some was saying that he has been possessed by a demon. Some people were saying that he has some gastric disorder, some indigestion, some pitta dosh. Verse number 81. Eimata sarvajane kare vichar Vishnu maya mohe tattva na janiyata. In this way, everyone gave different opinions as to what is wrong with Sri Nimai. And they could not understand what was really happening due to Vishnu maya mohe. Tattva na janiya. They could not understand in tattva, in reality, what was happening because of Krishna's maya shakti. They could not understand. So they were giving different opinions. Bahuvidha paka taila sabhe dena shire taila drone thui taila dena kalevare. The people applied different medicated oils on Sri Nimai's head, and then they put him in a wooden tub, and they filled it with medicated oil and started rubbing that oil on his transcendental body. The people. Taila drone means a large wooden tub, wooden container. Bahuvidha paka taila sabhe dena shire taila drone thui taila dena kalevare. They started massaging, immersed Nimai up to his neck in oil bath, and then started massaging him with different fragrant oil, different medicated oils as a potential remedy for his ill health, because the ecstatic symptoms, they were misunderstanding them to be some health problem. Verse number 83. Taila drone bhase prabhu hase khala khala satyayena mahavayu kariyache bala. Immersed in that oil, Sri Nimai Vishwambhar began to laugh as if a terrible gastric disorder had actually infected him. So Nimai started laughing loudly, and people thought, oh, this is another manifestation of his disease. Ei mata apana ichhaye lila kari swabhavika haila prabhu vayu parihari. So seeing the distress of his relatives and friends and well-wishers, how they were distressed to see Nimai manifesting these strange symptoms. They were symptoms of ecstasy, but for the people in general, they were strange symptoms. They could not understand, could not fathom what is going on. So to relieve their distress after enjoying his ecstatic symptoms, Ei mata apana ichhai lila kari swabhavika haila prabhu. He came back to his normalcy, his normal state. Swabhavika haila prabhu. He came back to his natural normal state. Vayu parihari. As if all the disorder in his body was now relieved. Sarvagane uthila ananda haridhvani kebakare vastradeya hena nahi jani. Everyone started doing haridhvani. Seeing that Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu had been cured of his so-called disease, they all started chanting Hari Ol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari, Hari Hari. They all became very happy. Uthila Ananda Haridhvani. With great joy, they were doing Haridhvani. So this is a very important principle, my dear friends. For us, devotees, this is a world of Dvandva. This is a world of dualities. Sometimes we go through happiness. Sometimes we have to face distress. Sometimes we are honored, sometimes we are dishonored. Sometimes we are successful, sometimes we are unsuccessful. When we are in distress, when we are unsuccessful, when we are being dishonored, when we are going through pain and suffering, we should take shelter of Krishna. Having firm faith in Krishna's protection, we should take shelter of Krishna. Avashya rakshive Krishna vishwasa palana. Krishna's protection, Krishna's raksha, is not on the level of the body necessarily. Sometimes it may be. Draupadi was saved, Gajendra was saved. Sometimes it may be on the bodily. The protection may be on the bodily platform. But the protection that Krishna promises, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Avashya rakshive Krishna vishwasa palana. This raksha, this protection is on the basis of soul. You see, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita promises Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Oh Arjun, declare it boldly that my devotee will never be defeated. My devotee will never perish. Now already in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has established that we are not this body. We are not this body. The body is going to die. The body is going to die, but the soul never dies. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So Krishna, when he says Name Bhakta Pranashyati, it refers to the soul. It cannot refer to the body because Krishna has already said this body is going to die. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. This is inevitable because this is Dukkhalayama Shashvatam. This is Martya Lok. This is a place where there is repeated birth and death. So the physical body cannot be protected for long. So Krishna's promise of protection is on the level of soul. So when we are going through distress, a devotee has firm faith in Krishna's protection on the level of soul. मेरा पतन नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि मैं भगवत आश्रित हूं. I cannot fall down because I have taken shelter of Krishna. That is the meaning of Avashya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana, which is one of the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. And this 6 limbs of Sharanagati we must develop, all of us. Dainya Atma Dimedana, Goptritve Varana, Avashya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasa Palana, Bhakti Anukula Matra Karyara Svikar, Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjanangikar. The 6 limbs of surrender all devotees must have. So we should have faith in Krishna's protection and we should take shelter of Krishna in the mood of Draupadi and Gajendra. What are the examples when the protection was not on the level of the body? There is the example of Abhimanyu in the Kurukshetra war. Krishna was right there on the battlefield, but Krishna did not protect the body of Abhimanyu, even though he was his own nephew. Abhimanyu was Subhadra's son. Subhadra is Krishna's sister, and Arjun's son. Arjun is Krishna's Priya Sakha. Bhaktosi me Sakha Cheti. But Abhimanyu was killed. That also very ruthlessly, very painful death. 6 Maharathis attacked him simultaneously and slowly killed him. Jatayu also was given a slow, painful death. He was slit in multiple places by a Ravan's sword. One of his wings was chopped off and he was profusely bleeding. So, example of Jatayu and example of Abhimanyu, we come to know that the protection that Krishna gives may not be on the level of the body. Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. But always it is on the level of the soul. Draupadi's soul was protected. Gajendra's soul was protected. Jatayu's soul was protected. And Abhimanyu's soul was protected. Draupadi and Gajendra's body was protected. But they eventually died anyway. Everybody has to die in this world. And Abhimanyu and Jatayu's bodies were not protected. But in all instances throughout the history of this world, the soul is protected. And that is our true identity. We are not the body, we are the soul. So which protection matters more? Material protection or spiritual protection? So Krishna promises spiritual protection. So when we are going through distress, we should call out to Krishna helplessly, taking Sharanagati, full surrender, full shelter of Krishna. And when we are happy, when things go well in life, when things go the way we want, naturally we feel elated, we feel joy. At that time, we should offer our gratitude to Krishna and intensify our bhajan, because everything is anukul, everything is favorable. So we should intensify our bhajan. And when we are going through distress, taking complete shelter of Krishna, we should again intensify our bhajan. So whether we are going through the duality of happiness or distress, we only keep on intensifying our bhajan. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param. That is devotee. We take every situation to deepen our practice of Krishna consciousness, deepen our sharanagati, our surrender to Krishna, deepen our attachment to Radha and Krishna. Every opportunity we take. If we are honored, we offer all that honor to Krishna. Krishna, it's all because of you. This all honor belongs to you. I am simply your servant. If you are dishonored, hey Krishna, please, while I am being dishonored, don't let me forget you. Don't let me develop any complaining attitude. Don't let me become bitter towards you. No. I want to have complete faith, complete love for you. That's all. These things in the material world don't matter. Success, failure, doesn't matter. I am always yours. So, tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya bina. That should be our attitude. So here, Shri Nimai Pandit has been cured. So his near and dear ones, what are they doing? They are saying Ananda Hari Dhvani. With great joy, they are chanting Hari Hari. And when Nimai was not well, they were putting Vishnu oil and chanting Vishnu mantras for protection. So in good, bad, in happy and sad situations, a devotee only increases the bhajan, only increases practice of Krishna consciousness. That is a take-home message here. Sarvagane uthila ananda hari dhvani kebakare vastradeya hena nahi jani. And in jubilation, they were distributing cloth and other gifts to each other. They were so happy. One of the symptoms of happiness is that we want to give gifts. Sarva lokeshuni haila harashita sabe bole jiu jiu ehena pandita. Everyone was very pleased to hear about Nimai's recovery. And they were saying, Jiu, Jiu, they were giving him blessings. That please may you live long, may you live long. This is our Krishna consciousness, my dear friends, where a devotee gives blessings to the Lord. Nowhere else you will see. In other traditions, E Bhagwan, Dhanam Dehi, Putra Dehi, give me this, give me that. Oh Father in heaven, give us today our daily bread. They're always asking. But when you go to Shri Vrindavan Dham, they will tell you that he's Lala. He's just a boy. Don't ask him for anything, but you give him blessings. That is the sweet mood of Vrindavan, where Radha and Krishna are Kishore Kishori. They are Yugala Kishore, Yugala Jodi. And they need to be blessed. They need to be protected. So, unki nazar utarte hai. After the darshan is given in the temple, then they put a black dot on Radha and Krishna so that they don't catch evil eye. This is the mood in Vrindavan. Very unique mood. Nowhere we can see this mood. So here they are saying, Jiu, Jiu. They are giving, may you live long, may you live long. They are giving blessings to Nimai. So sweet. Jivatu, Jivatu. May you live long. Ei mata ranga kare vaikunther rai ketane janita pare jodi na janai. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Shri Nimai Vishwambhar, Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata, enjoyed his pastimes in Navadvip. Who can understand these pastimes unless the Lord himself reveals them? Ketane janite pare jodi na janai. Who can understand? Krishna only can reveal these pastimes to us. Prabhure dekhiya sarva Vaishnave ragan sabhe bole bhaja bapa Krishnera charan. When all the Vaishnavas saw that Nimai, they told him, Dear Nimai, please worship the lotus feet of Krishna. All the devotees, they were instructing Nimai. Now you have recovered and we don't know what had happened to you. With great difficulty by putting Vishnu oil, we have made you recover now. So please, Sabe bole, Bhaja Bapa, Krishnera Charana. Now you worship the lotus feet of Krishna, okay? This human form is very precious. Shane ke nahi kabab, anitya sharir, tomare ki shikhai mu, tumi mahadhir. This body is temporary. Shane ke nahi kabab. This body is temporary. It may vanish the next moment. Anitya sharir. This human body is anitya. Anitya asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. This body is anitya. This body is temporary. Tomare ki shikaimu, tumi mahadhir. What can we teach you? You are a very learned, intelligent person, sober person. But please know that Bhaja Krishna Charan. Please worship the lotus feet of Krishna. That is our only request to you, Nimai. Hasiya Prabhu Sabare Kariya Namaskar Padaite Chale Shishya Samhati Apar. When the Vaishnavas requested Nimai to become a devotee of Krishna, Nimai smiled at the Vaishnavas and Kariya Namaskar. Nimai offered his obeisances to all the devotees. And then he left for the school with his students to teach them. Hasiya Prabhu Sabare Kariya Namaskar. He was very pleased to receive this request from the devotees that please become a devotee of Krishna. So he smiled and he offered respects to the devotees who had cured him of his apparent disorder. And then he went to his school to carry on with his teaching duties. Mukunda Sanjaya Punyavantera Mandire Padayena Prabhu Chandi Mandapa Bhitare. Nimai taught his students in the Durga Mandap or Chandi Mandap in the courtyard of the very fortunate person Mukunda Sanjaya. Parama Sugandhi Pak Taila Prabhu Shire Kona Punyavanta Deya Prabhu Vyakhya Kare. As Nimai began to teach the students, his head was smeared with fragrant medicated oils. Remember? They had put fragrant oils on Nimai's head. That was given by some pious people. So all that fragrance was coming as he was teaching. Chaturdike Shobhe Punya Vanta Shishagan Maje Prabhu Vyakhya Kare Jagata Jivan. Shri Nimai is Jagata Jivan. He is the life and soul of everyone, of the whole universe. And what did he do? He sat in the midst of many fortunate students. Chaturdike Shobhe Punyavanta Shishyagana. The Shishyagana, the students of Nimai, are called Punyavanta, very fortunate, because they are getting to sit with Nimai and learn from Nimai, who is the Jagata Jivana. He is the life and soul of everyone. Se Shobhara Mahimata Kahite Napari Upama Dibaya Kiba Nadekhi Vichari. I am unable to describe, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashaya saying, I am unable to describe or give a comparison, Upama. Cannot give a comparison to the wonderful scene. What is the scene? In the courtyard of Mukunda Sanjaya, our beautiful 16-year-old Nimai Pandit is sitting surrounded by his students and he's teaching them. He has got beautiful, luxuriant hair that are smeared with very fragrant oils. Actually, the body of Krishna, body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is divinely fragrant. Very fragrant. Sugandha Deha Sundaram. The Sugandha, the fragrance of Krishna's body is very beautiful. It's natural fragrance. All this sandalwood, musk, they are getting their fragrance from Krishna. So Krishna has a very beautiful natural fragrance. Now that is mixed with many fragrant oils. So it is very relishable, very special. Se Shobhara Mahimata Kahite Napari Upama Dibana Kiba Nadekhi Vichari Hena Bhuji Yena Sana Kadi Shishagane Narayane Vedi Vase Badrika Shrame. Śrī Vrindavan Thakur is saying, how was this scene that Nimai is sitting in the Durga Mandap in the courtyard of Mukunda Sanjaya and teaching his students? This scene is like Lord Narayan sitting at Badrikashram surrounded by his disciples, headed by the Chatush Kumar, Sanak Adi Kumars. They are sitting. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes in the purport, Badrikashram is situated on the western bank of the Alakananda river in the northernmost side of the Himalayas, past Haridwar and Rishikesh, in the hilly regions of Kumayun and Gadaula district. The ashram of Badri Narayan, that is Naranarayan Rishi, is situated there. The disciplic succession of Lord Narayan, headed by Vyasadeva and the four Kumaras, engages in worshipping the Supreme Lord at that place. They are situated in this world on Narayan's four sides as his associates, the four Kumaras. Tasabare laiya yena prabhu se padaya hena buji se lila kare gaura raya. Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he was enjoying the same pastimes that Lord Narayan enjoyed personally teaching his disciples. This is Vidya Vilas. Mahaprabhu is enjoying this pastime. Mahaprabhu is enjoying pastimes in the mood of Naranarayan Rishi. Mahaprabhu will enjoy pastimes in the mood of Lord Ramchandra. Mahaprabhu enjoys pastimes in the mood of Krishna. Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But for us, he is our Acharya. He is our Acharya. Acharya first, God later. Sei Badrikashrama Vasi Narayan Nischaya Janiha Ei Shachiranandan. Shri Shachinandan is certainly that same Lord Narayan who resides in Badrikashram. The presiding deity of Badrikashram is Shri Badri Vishal, Badri Narayan. That same Badri Narayan has appeared as Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata. When Srila Raghunath Das Goswami had a desire to construct and renovate the ghat at Radha Kund, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami required some funds. And he is a Babaji sleeping under a different tree every night. He came from a fabulously wealthy family, but now he had given up everything. Tyaktva turnam ashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhavat. Had given up everything and he needed a fund. So a very rich businessman went to Badrikashram for darshan. And Lord Badri Narayan spoke to him and said, you take all this donation, don't give me. Take it to Vrindavan. And there you will see a very great devotee called Sanatan Goswami, called Raghunath Das Goswami. Beg your pardon, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. He will be living and doing bhajan on the banks of Radha Kund and Sham Kund. You go there and give him this donation and tell him that he can use it for the construction of Radha Kund and Sham Kund. So that's how Radha Kund and Sham Kund were constructed. Badri Narayan ordered it to his own devotee. So therefore it is clear that Badri Narayan is not different from Gauranga Mahaprabhu, because Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's Ishtadev is Shri Shachinandan Gaurahari. So this is a very nice connection. Ataiva Shishya Sange Sei Lila Kare Vidyarase Vaikunthe Ranayaka Vihare. Therefore the Lord of Vaikuntha enjoyed those same pastimes while relishing Vidyarase. Vidyarase Vaikunthe Ranayaka Vihare. Vidyaras pastimes he enjoyed. The scholarly pastimes with his students he enjoyed. Padaiya Prabhudui Prahara Haile Tabe Shishya Ganalaya Ganga Snane Chale. After teaching all morning, at midday, Shri Nimai Pandit would take his students for a bath in the Ganga. How fortunate to take a bath in the Ganga with Nimai. Ganga Jale Vihara Kariya Katokshana Grihe Asi Kare Prabhu Shri Vishnu Pujana. Shri Nimai sported and played in the water of Ganga with his associates for some time. And then he returned home to do his Puja Archana, Vishnu Puja. Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaj writes in the purport, there was a temple of Lord Vishnu in the Lord's house. In that temple, the Lord worshipped a Shaligram Shila as Lord Krishna. He had a Damodar Shaligram Shila and a four-armed murti of Lord Vishnu called Adhokshaja. Tulasi re jaladiya pradakshina kari bhojane vasilagiya bali hari hari. Then, after worshipping Shaligram Shila, Shri Nimai would then water and circumambulate Tulsi plant. And while doing that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited the name of Hari as he sat down to eat. Wow. Tulasi re jaladiya pradakshina kari bhojane vasilagiya bali hari hari. Lakshmi dena anna khaya vaikunthe rapati nayana bhariya dekhe ai punyavati. Shri Lakshmi Priya Devi served him rice and nice food to the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikunthe Rapati. Lakshmi means Lakshmi Priya Devi. Lakshmi dena anna khaya vaikunthe rapati. Whatever Lakshmi Devi would cook and give, our Vaikuntha Pati, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat. Nayana bhariya dekhe ai punyavanti. And as Lakshmi Priya Devi was so nicely serving Shri Nimai Pandit's mother, Srimati Shachi Mata, was happily observing this pastime of Lakshmi Priya Devi serving to her full satisfaction. She was watching. Nayana bhariya dekhe ai punyavanti. Full satisfaction. Aakh bhar ke dekh rahi thi. Nayana bhariya dekhe. She was taking darshan of this beautiful scene that Lakshmi Priya Devi is serving her son Shachinandan Gaurahari. Bhojana antare kari tambula charvana shayana karena Lakshmi sevena charana. After finishing his meal, Lakshmi Priya Devi bought a nice pan, betel leaf, with nice, sweet, fragrant spices for Nimai to chew on. As the enjoyer, he chewed, and then he lay down. And as he lay down, Lakshmi Sevena Charana. Lakshmi Priya Devi started massaging the lotus feet of Nimai. Now, this is the eternal service of Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha. She does Pada Sevanam. She sits at the lotus feet of Lord Narayan and she massages the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. That same service Lakshmi Priya Devi is doing to Śrī Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Narayan. Shayana Karena Lakshmi Sevena Charana. He started doing Charan Seva. Lakshmi Devi started doing Charan Seva. Katakshana Yoga Nidra Prati Drishti Diya Puna Prabhu Chalilena Pustakalaya. After taking some rest, Nimai again went out with his books. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada explains what is Yoga Nidra. Because see, the sleeping of Nimai is not described as Nidra, Yoga Nidra. Bhagwan doesn't sleep like us, in ignorance. We are snoring and all foam is coming out of our mouth and bad breath is coming out of our mouth. Krishna doesn't sleep like that. It's Yoga Nidra. Katakshana Yoga Nidra Prati Drishti Diya Puna Prabhu Chalilena Pustakalaya. After taking some rest, he took his books and again went to study. The word Yoga Nidra is explained as follows. What is Yoga Nidra technically? Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is explaining. The science of self-realization is called yoga. The science of self-realization is called yoga. Through self-realization for the devotees, external feelings are vanquished. Now for the Lord, his manifested pastimes in this world remain unmanifested. This has been compared with sleep. Just like in sleep, we become inactive. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord appear to stop. Prakat Lila becomes Aprakat when he takes Yoga Nidra. This is the explanation of Sridhar Swami in his Swaprakash commentary on the Vishnu Puran. Saraswati Thakur is quoting from the commentary of Sridhar Swami to Vishnu Puran. Yoga Maya is Yoga Nidra because she steals the symptoms of consciousness from everyone just as sleep does. This is the explanation from the Vaishnava Toshani commentary. Yoga Nidra is the predominating deity of Krishna's energy. This is the explanation of Veera Raghava Acharya of the Śrī Sampradaya. So three Acharyas have been quoted by Saraswati Thakur. Sridhar Swami, then we have the Vaishnava Toshani commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami, and we have explanation purport by Shri Veera Raghava Acharya. So just to explain this, what is Yoga Nidra? Yoga is science of self-realization, and through self-realization, external feelings are vanquished. This has been compared to sleep. External feelings are vanquished. Nagare asiya kare vividha vila sabara sahita kare hasiya sambhaj. Shri Nimai enjoyed various pastimes in the city of Nadia and smiled as he talked with the residents. Yadyapi prabhu rakeha tatva nahi jane tathapi sadhvasa kare dekhi sarva jane. Although no one knew his real identity, the residents still offered him respects. Sadhvasa kare. They offered him all respects whenever they saw him. They did not know his real identity. They just knew that this nice boy Nimai. They offered him respects. Nagare brahmana kare Śrī Caitanya Nandana devera durlabha vastu dekhe sarva jana. This verse number 107 is incredibly beautiful, worth memorizing. Srila Vrindavan Thakur is describing Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes here. He says, Nagare brahmana kare Śrī Caitanya Nandana devera durlabha vastu dekhe sarva jana. Nagare Brahmana Kare Śrī Sachinandan. Śrī Sachinandan Gaurhari is walking along the town of Navadvip. And Devera Durlabha Vastu Dekhe Sarvajana. That scene of Nimai walking on the streets of Nadia, that scene which is Durlabh, which cannot be obtained even by the Devatas. Devera Durlabha Vastu Dekhe Sarvajana. That everybody is getting to see in Nadia, even common men. So wonderful. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, Sri Gaura Sundar is not perceivable by even the demigods. The demigods who reside in heaven are the best of the living entities under the three modes of material nature. Their advanced position is within the jurisdiction of temporary time and temporary existence. That is, it is not eternal. Eternal. The glory of the demigods is not eternal. But Krishna is eternal. Uthile na prabhu tantu vayera duyare dekhiya sambhrame tantu vaya namaskare. One day, Lord Nimai went to the house of a weaver, and the weaver respectfully offered him obeisances. The very sweet pastimes are about to unfold, my dear friends. Just like Krishna Chandra and Balramji, they went to different devotees in Mathura, walked from one place to other, accepting gifts from different devotees, like the garland maker, the clothes maker, the dhobi, kubja, fragrance maker. Everyone got mercy of Krishna. Similarly, now Nimai is going to give his mercy to the residents of Nadia. Uthile na prabhu tantu vayera duyare dekhiya sambhrame tantu vaya namaskare. One day, Nimai went to the house of a weaver, and the weaver immediately offered obeisances to Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, knowing him to be the Brahman, Nimai Pandit. Bhala vastra ana prabhu bola ye vachana tantu vaya vastra ani lena se ikshana. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu told the weaver, please bring one nice piece of cloth for me. And Tantuvaya Vastra Ani Lena Se Kshana. That very moment, immediately the weaver brought some nice cloth for Nimai. Prabhu bole e vastrera ki mulya lai Tantuvaya bole tumi apane ye diba. Nimai Pandit asked the weaver, what is the price of this cloth? Weaver replied, what is the price of this cloth? You are asking, I gave you a cloth, you are asking what is the price? You can pay me whatever price you like. Tumi apane ye diva. Whatever you feel appropriate, you give. I am not asking for anything. Vastralaya para tumi param asantoshe pache tumi kadi more dios samaveshe. Take the cloth and happily wear it. The weaver said, my dear Nimai, take this cloth and happily wear it. You can pay me whenever, whatever you want. Tantuvaya prati prabhu shubha drishti kari uthilena giya prabhu goyalar puri. After mercifully glancing at the weaver, Nimai continued and he went to the house of a cowherd person. So the weaver gave the cloth to Nimai, did not charge him anything, and said, if you want, you can pay me something, but if you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay. Yes, we stopped at verse number 113. We'll start from 113 next time. So the weaver was very nice. 111 skipped, you're saying? Oh, sorry. Correct. Prabhu bole e vastera ki mulya lai tantuvaya bole tume apana ye diba. What is the price of this cloth? Mahaprabhu asked the weaver. Weaver said, give whatever you like. Then verse number 111. Mulya kari Prabhu bole ebe kadi nai tanti bole dashe pakshe diyo ye gosai. After settling the price, the Lord said, I don't have any money right now. The weaver said, oh Gosai, oh Nimai, you can give it to me in 10-15 days. Dasha pakshe diyo ye Gosai. Don't have to give me now. Give me 10-15 days later also, no problem. Vastralaya para tumi parama santoshe pache tumi kadi more diyo samaveshe. Take the cloth and happily wear it. You can pay me whenever, whatever you like. It's 112. So this is the nature of a devotee. A devotee doesn't ask anything, but wants to give. There's a story of Kevala Ram, one devotee. He was a devotee of Lord Ramchandra. And he never asked anything from Lord Ram. But he always wanted to give everyone. So he once heard that in a village there was some water problem, there was some drought problem. So he said, oh, this village should have a well. If we have a well, then sometimes even in the dry season, the people of the village, the villagers can draw up water and survive nicely. So let me do the service for this village. Let me dig a well for them. So he told his wife that, my dear wife, we should do some seva. Both of them were very devoted to Lord Ramchandra. They were Namashrit. Always they would chant Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. And both were very wonderful devotees and always wanted to do seva. So they came to this particular village, and there they found that there was water shortage. So they both of them decided that we'll dig a well. Now it takes a lot to dig a well. For one husband and one wife to dig a whole well, very difficult. But they said we'll do it out of love for these villagers because they don't have water. They started digging and digging and digging. And Kevalaram's wife, she was not so strong. So basically she was just, he would dig and she would put everything in a big metal bowl and she would carry it and carefully throw it somewhere far away. And everything they were doing, they were chanting Sitaram, Sitaram. With every shovel, Kevalaram was saying Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. And this wife also, she used to pick up all the mud. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Just like we do Radhesham, 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 like that. And there was no one to help them. They were doing it selflessly. Because these villagers, they are nice devotees of Lord Ram. We should do some service, some Vaishnava seva for them. So they were doing this seva. They were digging and digging and digging. So this wife was standing outside and the husband was, now they had dug very deep. And he was digging and digging and digging and there was still no water coming, digging and digging. Remember, there was a drought. So digging and digging. Day after they were digging, always chanting Radhesham, Sitaram, 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 like that. And suddenly one day what happened? Somehow, as he was digging, going deep and deep and deep, what happened? The walls of the well that he was digging, the walls of the dry well, they collapsed. And all the mud and soil, it came and it completely buried this Kevalaram underground. And it is described that there was 20 hand soil on top of his head. So 20 hands means around 30 feet. So he had dug 30 feet underground and all the walls of the well, they just came collapsed. Somehow the soil must be loose. It just came crashing over him and he was completely buried in a moment with almost 30 feet of earth. Now, how can anybody survive? Can you imagine being buried so deep? And the wife was aghast. What happened? She started screaming, Sitaram, Sitaram, oh, someone come, help, help, please, help, help. But there was no one there. She tried to dig, but no, she was just a simple woman. And even the digging shovel was inside with Kevalaram. That was the only instrument, digging instrument they had. You can imagine the desperate situation of this wife. Her husband just got buried underground and she has no equipment, nothing to help him. She started screaming for help. Sitaram, 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 someone help my husband, help. There was nobody. She ran to the nearest village and begged for help. Please, someone come and help. My husband just got buried underground. Please help, help. And the villagers, they all panicked. They picked up their shovels and everything and they came running to the spot. But by the time this happened, already almost an hour had passed. So they came and they saw, oh, how deep was it? She said, oh, it was almost 20 arm lengths deep. Oh, almost 30 feet deep. Oh, we have never dug so much. And also it is risky because we may dig and again the soil in this area is very loose. Again, the soil will just come crashing in and collapse. See, in those days, there were no those cranes and those instruments where we could rescue. So the villagers said that already 1 hour has passed because he cannot breathe. with 30 feet of soil above his head. He cannot breathe. It's completely closed. So they told her that he must be already dead. 1 hour has gone by and it's 30 feet deep. There is no way we can risk our life to dig him out. So she said, I will dig with my hand. She was desperate. Sitaram, Sitaram. They said, they pulled her out. They said, no, Maya, you will also die. Don't do this. So they gave her some prasad and they told her, you go, we will go to your house and, villagers, we will take care of you in your old age. You don't worry, but you don't do this now. Just Sitaram, your husband is gone. He got buried. So they just made her go back. They took her, the ladies, they held her and they took her away. They said, nothing can be done. He's dead. He's gone. She was very heartbroken. But her faith in Sitaram did not waver. She thought that, oh, Sitaram, you have taken him. It is your sweet will. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo ichha tohar nitya dasa prati tua adhikar. Oh, my dear Lord, you can kill us. You can keep us alive. We are yours. We have no personal ambition or interest. Whatever you want to do, you do. We are your puppets. Nachao, nachao, Prabhu, nachao se mate. So in this way, the wife went away and everyone forgot about this Kevalaram. His name was Kevalaram because he would only worship Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Always keep chanting Sitaram, Sitaram. So people used to call him Kevalaram. He is the only devotee of Ram. Doesn't worship anybody else. That Kevalaram, he was just there chanting. He was just buried and everybody forgot about him. But you see, my dear friends, Avashya Rakshive Krishna, Vishwasa Palana. The whole world may forget, but Krishna never forgets his devotee. Krishna is always there for his devotee. 1 month went by. The wife was already living a life of a widow. 1 month went by. She still had so much sorrow in her heart that how suddenly my husband died. I hope at the time of death he was able to remember his Ishtadev Sitaram. But anyway, she continued with her bhajan, continued with her seva, Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. After a month or so, somehow the king was passing by that village on a palanquin with all his servants and ministers. He was passing by. The whole ceremony, the whole procession was going through that village. And then they went outside the village towards the forest and they went to the site where this Kevalaram was buried underground. So as the king was passing by, the king was a great devotee himself of Ram. He used to always chant. So as the king was going, suddenly he started chanting Sitaram. The king started chanting Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. The king was saying, oh, I was just so dull. I was sitting in this palanquin being carried and I was like sleepy. I was not even chanting, but suddenly in this place, Nam Jap has started. Suddenly, automatically I started chanting. Something is special about this place. He told the servant, stop the palanquin. Let me get down here. The king got down and he inspected that place. He said, this place is divine. As soon as I came here, Nam has started. I started chanting. There was one devotee, very nice devotee. One time he took Shripad Aniruddha Baba. Shri Aniruddha Prabhu, he is one of our very great Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He is a disciple of Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Maharaj, who is Srila Prabhupada's very dear God brother, very exalted soul, very great pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada's God brother, disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Maharaj. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Maharaj, and Shripad Aniruddha Prabhu. Aniruddha Prabhu. Very, very great, exalted Vaishnava. He is, I think, 95 or 96 years old. He still lives in Rajasthan. He chants much more than 3 lakh every day. Very great soul. Very great soul. Very, very great soul. Self-realized. Very great soul. Shripad Aniruddha Prabhu. So Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu wanted to go somewhere. And this devotee that I'm talking about, he's young. Now he's in his 40s. That time he was around 30 years old. So Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu had to go somewhere. And in Vrindavan only. So this devotee said, I will take you on my two-wheeler. He had a two-wheeler, scooty or something. He said, I will take you. So Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu sat on his motorcycle or whatever the two-wheeler was. And because he is very old, he was hugging from behind this devotee. He was hugging this devotee from behind so he will not fall. And this devotee, young man, he was driving the two-wheeler. And Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu is sitting. And that journey took around half an hour, 45 minutes, wherever they were going. I think they were going to Radhakund. So he was riding the two-wheeler and Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu was hugging him from behind, sitting for half an hour like this. This devotee was telling that after I did that seva for Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu, I'll tell you, Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu constantly chants. Constantly he's chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu, after he got down and he went about with his duties, and this devotee was saying, after I did that 30 minutes of seva for Sripad Aniruddha Prabhu, for almost 4 to 5 days, he was saying, I am telling the truth, I am not exaggerating. For 4 to 5 days, I did not have to chant. The Naam was just vibrating constantly. Constantly, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. I had to make no attempt. The tongue was just vibrating, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, continuously. Just by being held by this Mahabhagavat. Like Tukaram Maharaj. He would walk on some stones and those stones used to vibrate. Vitthal, 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 Vitthal. This is the power of the Naam Japaks, those who are completely Namashrit, completely who have taken shelter of Naam. So, this king, he said something is special about this place. As soon as I came here, Sitaram, 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 I started. I don't know what is the potency of this place. He looked around and he tried to listen. And then very sweet voice was coming from underground. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Kevala Ram said, wow, where is this beautiful chanting coming from? So he called the villagers and asked them, someone is chanting here underground. What is this? The villagers tried to hear and they also were able to hear. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. Constant vibrations are coming. Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. They told the king that a month ago, a very horrible, tragic mishap took place. A man, for the welfare of the village, was digging a well, but the walls of the well collapsed and he just got buried 30 feet underground. And we were helpless. We couldn't do anything. The king ordered them, nothing doing. Immediately told the soldiers, come on, immediately let's dig and let's rescue this great saint. I can hear the chanting. So the whole army came and they started digging. Now there is no fear, such a big army. Anybody falls also, they will throw a rope and pull them out and all the equipment is there now. The king has ordered. So immediately they started digging. And as they dug 30 feet, what did they see? Just like in a mountain, we have a cave. The cave is very comfortable, right? You sit, you are covered from all sides. There is ventilation also, and you can chant peacefully. So like there is a cave in a mountain. Underground, there was a nice cave. And surprisingly, there was fresh air there, cool air. There was a very beautiful spring of fresh, sweet water. And there were plates of Mahaprasad. And these plates were golden plates. And they had Ayodhya written on it. So this Kevala Ram said, as soon as I got buried, Lord Ramchandra personally protected me. And he said, you don't worry, you just sit and you chant my name. I will provide you with food and water. And from Ayodhya, every day, Mother Sita cooks for Ram. And Lord Ramchandra eats. And Sita Devi eats the remnants of Ram. And then Sita Devi would say, in Ayodhya, she would say that, now take my plate to Keval Ram. And then the transcendental associates of Lord Ram, they would deliver that beautiful prasad, Rajbhog prasad, 56 items, 56 items to Keval Ram every day. And there was a fresh spring of water. And he said the beauty was, this is divine prasad coming from the spiritual world, Ayodhya. So there is no need of answering nature's call. This prasad nourishes the body but doesn't cause byproducts. So there was no stool, no urine. He was just sitting there. He said, I am getting first class Ganga Jal. Ganga Jal has manifested and I am eating Bhagavad Prasad. So what else do I have to do? I was just simply sitting for a month and happily, blissfully chanting Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. So this is, Krishna always protects, always takes care of his devotees. The devotees don't ask for anything, but Krishna, he gives. That is Krishna's nature. He is Bhakta Vatsal. Vatsal means what? The Bhakta is like a Vatsa, is like a calf. And Krishna and Radharani are like the mother cow. The mother cow always takes care of the little one. And therefore we don't have to ask anything. Krishna and Radharani, they know exactly what we need. And every situation in our life that comes, it is a perfect arrangement by Radha Shyam Sundar to bring us closer to them. What we have to do is only two things. We have to take shelter of the holy name and keep chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And like Kevala Ram, we have to serve the devotees. He was always engaged in serving the devotees. Always eager. What service can I do? What service can I do? Oh, this village doesn't have water. I will dig a well. What is the need? But always he is engaged in Vaishnava service. So we should do Vaishnava Seva and we should do Nam Kirtan. That's all. Prabhu kahe, Vaishnava Seva, Nama Sankirtan, Dui Kara, Shigra Pabe, Śrī Krishna Charan. These are the words of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhu kahe, Vaishnava Seva, Nama Sankirtan, Dui Kara, Shigra Pabe, Śrī Krishna Charan. So that is the message of today's reading of Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata. Thank you very much, dear devotees. I will stop here. Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata ki jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashay ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, you can please ask. Yes, Parima Mataji, you can please unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Again, another Nectarian class, Prabhuji. Wonderful pastime. It's so inspiring, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And Dandvat pranams to your service. Prabhuji, I had this question that whenever we actually read the life of Goswamis and also Bhajananandi Babaji's like Tinkodi Goswami and all, when we hear that in the class and everything, it's like their austerity and their level is so much that, at least for me, I can say that I can never do that. And when we hear the pastimes of such devotees and the tests that they had to pass through, I would fail miserably. So in that situation, in such situation where we don't have that kind of inner strength and inner power to, deal with the external situation and calamities, and at the same time we do not even, at least I do not have the power to do that much austerity, how can I progress in bhakti? This question always comes to me whenever I hear such pastimes. So if you can elaborate on that, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Parima Mataji. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Yogyata vichare kichu nahi paya tomara karuna sara. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi paya tomara karuna sara. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, if you ask me, what is my qualification? योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाए. I have no qualification. Who am I? What am I? Tomara karuna sar. I am simply made up of your mercy. योग्यता विचारे किछु नहीं पाए, तुम्हारा करुणा सार. करुणा न होइबे कांदिया कांदिया, प्राण न राखिबो आर. करुणा न होइबे. Oh my dear Gurudev, oh my dear Vaishnav Thakur, if you don't have mercy on me, karuna na hoibe, kandiya, kandiya, I will simply, what can I do? I will simply cry and I will cry and I will cry. Prana na rakhibo. I will not be able to maintain my life. योग्यता विचारे किछु नाही पाए, तुम्हारा करुणा सार. करुणा ना होइबे कांदिया कांदिया, प्राण ना राखिबो आर. Srila Prabhupada also said, Bhakti nahi veda nahi, nama khub dharo, Bhakati Vedanta nama, ebe sarthako. Srila Prabhupada, whose name is Bhakti Vedanta Swami, he says, Bhakti nahi veda nahi. I don't have devotion, bhakti nahi, and I don't have any knowledge, Veda nahi. Bhakti Vedanta nama ebe sarthak karo. Now Krishna, you only make me worth my name, Bhakti Vedanta. So yes, these Vaishnava Charitra, we have to read, we have to meditate. Why do we read about the 6 Goswamis? Why do we read books like Narottam Vilas? Why do we read books like Bhakti Ratnakar? Or even Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the glorious life of Srila Haridas Thakur is described, for example. We cannot go through the tests that Srila Haridas Thakur went through. Musalman Jallads are taking the hunter and they are whipping in 22 marketplaces from morning to evening. Just one man. They are hitting and they are hitting and hitting. And Srila Haridas Thakur is saying, Khanda khanda hai deha jai adi pran. Tobe vadane na chadimu Shri Harinam. You can beat me, you can cut my body to pieces, you can do whatever you want, but still my tongue will not stop vibrating the holy name. We cannot pass such a test. Impossible for us. So, these examples of exalted Vaishnavas are there to inspire us. We are not expected to imitate them, or we are not expected to match their level of dedication and surrender. No, they are acharyas. We are Acharya Das. We are their servants. We are not expected to match their strength. Like in the army of Lord Ramachandra, there was only one Hanumanji. Only one. There is no two Hanuman. There is only one Hanumanji. No other Vanar could equal. And it was not expected. There is only one Srila Prabhupada. There is only one Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. There is only one Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. These acharyas, they are unique. And they are the Maharathis. They are the Senapatis of Mahaprabhu's army. We are foot soldiers. So there are general among the soldiers. These are generals. All these devotees that we talk about in Bhaktamal, in all these Vaishnava literatures, we read the Charitra, we read the life of all these great saints. They are like, so there are generals among the devotees and there are general devotees like us. These are generals among the devotees. We are general devotees. We are foot soldiers. They are the big senapatis. So we are not expected to match their caliber, their dedication, their devotion, their surrender, their tolerance, their humility. Not expected. But we worship them on the altar of our hearts. We worship them on the altar of our hearts, that they are the standard. And this should be like that. We should always, like you are thinking, Parima Mataji, we should always think like that. That I cannot be like that. I cannot be like Rupa Goswami. I cannot be like Das Goswami, drinking a leaf cup full of buttermilk every third day. Sometimes forgetting that also. I cannot be like Rupa Goswami, doing bhajan for 22.5 hours. Whatever dry leaves have fallen from the trees, you somehow create a fire at night and burn those leaves, and in the light of that fire, you're writing Ujjwal Nilamani and you're writing Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. What is this? What? We cannot do that. If the electricity goes, we start complaining. Hey, what is this? This is America. Why the electricity is being cut? Where is the generator in the house? So, but Rupa Goswami, this is Rupa Goswami. So we are not expected to be like them, but we are expected to worship them on our heart. And who are we? Tomara Karuna Sara. We are simply made of your mercy, Gurudev, O Vaishnav Thakur. And we should always think like that I am nothing. Yogyata vichare, kichu nahi paye. All our acharyas have thought like that. Srila Bhaktivinoda, what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur? He is such a exalted, he is the main Manjari under Srila Rupa Goswami, under Srila Rupa Manjari. Therefore, he is called Rupanuga Varayate. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. Why is Rupanuga Varayate? Because in Golok Vrindavan, Rupa Manjari's main assistant is Kamala Manjari, who is Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur is saying, Rupa Sanatana Pade Dante Trina Kori Bhakati Vinod Kohe Dui Padadhari Kandiya Kandiya Bole Amito Adhama Shikhaye Sharanagati Koro He Uttama. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, taking a blade of grass between my teeth as a sign of humility, I am saying, Kandiya Kandiya Bole Amito Adhama. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, I am Adham. I am Adham and Shikhao Sharanagati. Please teach me. Rup Sanatan Goswami, teach me Sharanagati. And Koro He Uttam. And make me Uttam Adhikari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Mahabhagavat, who gave birth to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is saying that I am Adham. And please, Rup Sanatan Goswami, you can make me Uttam. So that should be our mood, that I am Adham, but by Mahat Kripa, by Sadhu Guru Kripa, I have the potential to become Uttam. And that is my aspiration. That is what I want to do. So Shri Narottam Das Thakur is also saying, there is no one more fallen than me. Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Toma Bina Ke Dayalu Jagata Samsare Patita Pavana Hetu Taba Avatara and Mosama Patita Prabhu Napai Beara. Mosama, Sama means equal. Patit, no one is Patit like me. Mo Sama Patita Prabhu Napai Beara. You have come to deliver the Patit, my dear Mahaprabhu, I am telling you, you will not find someone more fallen than me. Narottam Das Thakur is saying, who is Champak Manjari in Golok Vrindavan, who in the Padma river, when he took bath, he received the direct prem of Mahaprabhu in his heart. He is saying that I am so fallen. I am most patit. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who gave us this Chaitanya Charitamrita, who wrote these beautiful verses, Krishna Leela Bhagavate Kahe Veda Vyas, Chaitanya Leela Vyasa Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Dasa Kaila Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarva Amangal, Chaitanya Nitayara Jate Janiye Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhante Rasima, Manushya Rachite Nahi Aiche Grantha Dhanya, Vrindavana Das Mukhe Bhakta Śrī Caitanya. Who wrote all these beautiful verses, who wrote the 11,000 beautiful verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, who wrote Govinda Lilamrit. He's saying, Purushera Kita Haite Mohise Adhama. What is that verse? Jagai Madai Haite Mohise Papishta, Purushera Kita Haite Mohise Laghishta. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing that Jagai Madai haite mui se papishtha. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai. And Purushera Kita haite mui se lagishta. I am lower than a worm in the stool. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying. Je mora naam le tare punya kshay. Anyone who takes my name, he's saying, all his pious credits will be destroyed. How can we understand such extreme, genuine humility? Well, our acharyas are like that, and the nature of bhakti is like that. Dainya Atma Nivedana. One of the qualities of Sharanagati is Dainyata. So this is very good that we feel like this, that I am nothing, I have no qualification. I can never. So we are not expected to imitate. We are expected to follow in their footsteps. We don't have to do Anukaran, we have to do Anusharan. We have to follow in their footsteps. We don't have to imitate them. So yes, our acharyas will always remain way, way, way superior to us, and we will always be their servants. Chaitanya Radasamui, Chaitanya Radas, Chaitanya Radasamui, Radase Radas. We are servants of the servants. Is that okay? Parima Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Wonderful answer, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful explanation. Because the truth is, Prabhuji, that they say that we are like the worm in the stool, but the thing is applicable to at least a person like me. It's not applicable to them. We are actually, at least I am actually like that, fallen. They are not that fallen.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So last question, Saujanya Mataji. You want to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavata Pranams all goes to Srila Prabhupada. I
Hare
just
Krishna.
have a small comment and one question. The comment is that it's the coming weekend is Ramnavami, so when we hear the Bhagavatam classes or Chaitanya Charitamrita or any of the satsangs, like how Krishna reciprocates. So it's a coincidence that you were telling about the Ramnavami, like about Lord Rama's pastimes. So I was just thinking, see, I think this is how Krishna reciprocates. I just wanted to share that as a comment, Prabhuji. I felt happy. And the second thing is, it's a general question, Prabhuji, but most of the times when I get any questions in the practical life, somehow Krishna gives me the answer through classes or, when I'm listening. But then as a devotee, we feel, okay, we have to do this to satisfy Krishna. So we have our sadhana, our duties, services, work, everything. But sometimes it gets so overwhelming. What do we give up? Everything we have to do, and that we tend to be perfectionists because we want to give the best to Krishna. How should our mind take that when we get those situations? 1 day, 1 week, sometimes months. And I don't want to get demotivated, but I feel somewhere there should be an answer, like, from acharyas or I don't know how to pray to Krishna or what to pray to Krishna. I just felt like asking this question, Prabhuji.
So what is overwhelming? The practice of Krishna consciousness?
No, the activities sometimes, some weeks and days, like the whole day, it gets so overwhelming, but you want to do. You don't want to give up. But then it becomes more like, for next day, like a backlog or, oh, I still have to do this. It's like more and more, but we don't give up. But then what should be our attitude? Because it does get like, what do I reduce? What do I increase? Because everything is for Krishna and we want to do everything, like our sadhana, our work, and then housework, every duty, whatever we are doing every day, Prabhuji. So I don't know if I'm expressing my question.
Yes, now I understand. Now I understand. Hare Krishna. So 3 things, Mataji. Number 1 is that we should have a dincharya. Every devotee must have a timetable, because a disciple means discipline. So we must have a daily schedule. What time, approximately, what time we are going to sleep, approximately what time we are going to wake up, and morning sadhana. At least 2.5 to 3 hours we should carve out, where we chant our 16 rounds, at least minimum. We do some puja, we read Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and we hear some Harikatha. That we must do in the morning. before we begin our daily activities. Usually after 7 o'clock, we become busy. That's why I always say that before 7 o'clock, we should complete our morning routine, morning program, morning sadhana. Then we should just pray to Krishna that, my dear Krishna, now for the next 8-9 hours, whatever service I'm going to do in the office or at home, I offer all that to you. I'm doing it for your pleasure. So then the whole day becomes a bhajan. And at night, again, we should do some Krishna conscious activity. Like with the family, we can sit and read Chaitanya Charitamrita or Bhagavad Gita. Like that, we must read. So first of all, we should have a timetable. Now, timetable, we cannot follow like military discipline exactly minute to minute, because things happen in life. And so, but we should have a overall schedule that this time to this time I'm going to chant. Then these are my work hours. This is my excess time for go for a japa walk in the evening. Or this is my time to play with my kids or catch up on pending things. This is my time to eat. This is my time to read Chaitanya Charitamrita in the evening. So Bhagavatam in the morning, Chaitanya Charitamrita in the evening. Like that. So we should have such a schedule. That's number one. Number two, we should have some basic minimum sadhana, and then we should have some extra sadhana. So when things get overwhelming, when things get busy, it's okay if sometimes we cannot do the extra things. But the basic minimum, that 16 rounds, some puja, some Bhagavatam reading, and some Harikatha hearing from a pure devotee. Not this doesn't count. This Harikatha, we are just friends coming together and discussing some Chaitanya Bhagavata. This is not counting as Harikatha. But we should hear from pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, from our Guru Varga. That is called Acharya Vani. So we should hear Acharya Vani. At least even for 10 minutes, 15 minutes every day, but we must. So this is minimum sadhana. This we must do in the morning. Now, whatever extra is there, that we may be able to do, sometimes we may not be able to do because it's extra. So the second thing I'm telling you is you should divide your service into two things. One is essential service and one is extra. So essential service we must do in the morning. And extra services, sometimes we may not be able to do. So it's okay because we have done our basic minimum that we have committed, correct? But what happens if we don't have such segregation and then we don't have a timetable and we do anything anytime and then we just one particular day gets very overwhelming, then even our basic minimum sadhana is not completed. That's when we feel that jalan, that burning sensation. Oh my God, what have I done? The day has been completely wasted. That feeling comes. That will not come if we have the two things. We have a timetable and we divide our duties into rocks, pebbles, and sand. So if now this is Vrajraj, but if our life, our day is like a container, this container can have rocks, pebbles, and then sand. The rocks are chanting 16 rounds, doing some deity worship, reading some Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing some Harikatha. These are the rocks, 4 things. So these we put in the bottle first. Rocks we put first. Then other things are there, some extra things are there. They are like stones. They are put later on. And then there are non-essential things. That is like sand. That we can put anytime because sand will find its way. It is fine. It will find its way. But if we first fill it with sand, the whole bottle, there is no room for putting rocks. So first we have to do the most essential thing. And that is our morning sadhana. That's why first thing when we wake up, even if we don't have a bath, it's okay. As soon as you wake up, just brush your teeth, just pass some water, get fresh, wash your face, and sit and chant for 2 hours intensely. After that, even if we die, it's okay. Our day is successful because we have chanted for 2 hours minimum. So there are the rocks. There are small stones, which is like other services we do, other things we do. They are important, like going for a walk, exercising. That is important, but not as important as chanting Hare Krishna. And then there are other things like sand. What is the news? What is going on? What is this? Some things, they are important, but even if we don't do them, we're not going to lose anything. So first we do the rocks, then we do the stones, pebbles, then we do the sand. So in this way, we have to prioritize our things. So if we do these three things, one is to have a schedule, Number 2 is to prioritize what we have to do. And segregate it as essential and non-essential. And number 3 is the last final thing, is that we should be under the guidance of a superior Vaishnava. Because overwhelming situations will come in life. Confusing situations will come in life. Sometimes many services are thrown at us and we don't know which service to choose. Therefore, in all these situations, we need a Shiksha Guru in our life. A senior Vaishnava, a mentor who can guide us. Otherwise, practice of Krishna consciousness can sometimes become overwhelming. Life can become overwhelming. And then we may get burnt out, or we may become very dejected, depressed, and frustrated that, oh, this is not possible, this is impossible. But if we have a Shiksha Guru, then we will get the essence. We will get the essence. Like I'll tell you, in one point in my life, I was giving so much importance to chanting the number of rounds that I would not do puja only. I would chant till I had to leave the house for my work. And then my Shiksha Guru, Shripad Mukundatta Prabhu, he is the head pujari of ISKCON Vrindavan, Shri Krishna Balram Mandir. He chastised me. He said, chanting Hare Krishna means you are praying to Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna is a Yugala mantra. Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna. Hare Ram is Radha Raman. So you are praying to Yugala Kishore. You are praying to Radha Sham Sundar, that engage me in your devotional service. That is the prayer. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a call to Radha Krishna and it's a prayer. What is a prayer? Please engage me in your service, in your loving service. So Sripad Mukundatta Prabhu chastised me. He said, you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra means you are praying, give me service, give me service, give me service. And Thakurji ghar mein virajman hai. Thakurji is there at home. You have installed deities in your altar, on your altar, and you are not worshipping them, you are not serving them. So what is this? You are asking for service, but you are not rendering service when you have the opportunity to render service. So it only you balance out. You chant 16 rounds, you do deity worship. Then you go to your work. And while you are doing deity worship, you hear a lecture of Srila Prabhupada. So your Shravanam also is happening at that time. So I never thought like that. So therefore we need a Shiksha Guru in our life. Someone who can guide us. So 3 things. One is we should have a schedule. Second is we should have a prioritization, rocks, pebbles, and sand. And number 3, we need a Shiksha Guru to answer our questions that arise, to correct us when we are wrong, to keep us on track, and to make sure that we are practicing Krishna consciousness properly. Because if you practice Krishna consciousness properly, what will happen? We will get a higher taste. And unless we get a higher taste, we will not taste the sweetness of Krishna consciousness. And if we don't taste the sweetness of Krishna consciousness, we will fall down. Because we will start looking for nectar elsewhere. There is no nectar in Krishna consciousness. So now let me see if there is nectar in eating restaurant food. If there is nectar in going on a cruise vacation. Is there nectar in going to Las Vegas? Is there nectar in watching Netflix? Is there nectar in watching news? Is there nectar in watching something else? Is there nectar in associating with my school friends who had lost touch? Oh, now we are having a reunion, and so all those things will attract us if we have not developed taste in Krishna consciousness. But if we are getting the nectar of Krishna, sweetness of Krishna consciousness, those lower tastes will never disturb us, never attract us. So therefore, we should go deep in Krishna consciousness. And a Shiksha Guru helps us. Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru helps us go deep. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. It really helps. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there are no more questions and we will stop here. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, with your permission, we'll stop. Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
All Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Radhe Radhe.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.